This is one of the last paintings the Lord had me do. And in painting this sword, I ended up watching some things about bladesmithing recently. And I remember in one episode, a man was making a Damascus pattern sword. And he had put it in the forge. It was flaming hot. And there were many pieces of steel that he had put together. And he was doing a Damascus pattern with a twist. And he was literally twisting the bonded metal together. And he was twisting and he was twisting. And then he looked down and realizing he was twisting in the wrong direction. And the thing is, because it was the wrong direction, rather than the bond getting tighter, it was actually falling apart. If my memory serves me correct, he was able to salvage it by putting the bonded metals back into the forge, back into the fire, and then he pulled it back out when it was hot enough and twisted it in the opposite direction. And then the twisted Damascus pattern, it held. Why did I say that? There are some people, you were in a position and the Lord delivered you. And those are the one who had you ensnared. Well, the person or persons thought he, she, they had you ensnared, but didn't take. And they're trying to get you back. So like that, the pieces of metal, they're trying to put you back into the fire and twist you in another direction so that this time, what they tried doing before will work. But as is written, and as Peter wrote, do not be like a dog that returns to its vomit, or a pig that's been washed that returns to the mire. When the Lord gives an example, or when he shows you what a person or people's, what their intentions truly were, and what he saved you from, do not allow them to get in a position to try to twist you up and bind you and mold you into what and who they want you to be. I could have done this part in a separate message, but it also relates to bladesmithing. Because after painting that sword, I started watching a lot of stuff about bladesmithing, and little did I know, the Lord's going to use it to bring forth a message, or two messages in one. Also remember this bladesmith. He did everything in terms of putting the metals together, forging it, and then quenching it. Quenching the forged blade in oil. And then he took it out for a test. Now one of the tests is to scrape it with a file to see how it sounds. And he seemed to pass the test. But then he went out and there was a log. And he hit the log with a blade. Now the blade had not been sharpened. It was to see if it was strong, if it was resilient. When he hit the log with a blade, the piece of metal just simply broke. See, everything that had been done failed, which meant he had to go back to the drawing board. There are some things people are trying to do, and it will never work because God is not with it. And as it is written in Psalm 127:1, unless the Lord builds a house, those who build it in vain. Oh, by the way, another thing that just came to me. When people are forging a blade, they can just use a single piece of steel and it comes out nice and shiny and it's beautiful. Like the knives or the swords that used to cut tuna, one of the sharpest blades around. And just the chrome look, it's beautiful. But then some people do swords or blades using a Damascus pattern. They get kind of fancy. For some people, one of the reasons why what they tried did not work. Basically, they got a little bit too fancy. And the Lord made sure that what they did backfired. So when the Lord has delivered you of something, Do not go back into the position. In Numbers 11, the Israelites started lusting after the leeks and onions and the things that they had in Egypt, as if those things were for free. They forgot how they were crying out to the Lord. When the Lord delivers you, do not go back into those situations. Jesus spoke about when an evil spirit is cast out. It comes back, or it may come back, and if he sees the house, the person, empty, swept clean, not only does it come back, it causes 7 other spirits more wicked than itself, and the state of the person is worse than the first. So when the Lord delivers you, do not go back into that situation. There is one exception that comes to mind, and that is if the Lord now uses you to go back into such situations to set the captives free. What the Lord delivers you of, don't go back into it. Don't go back into it. Damascus pattern. He was twisting the wrong way, and what he thought was working was failing with every twist. And some people, in their wickedness, cannot see the plot twist coming, and how, as they have done, it will be done unto them. God bless you if you walk in righteousness for the Lord's name's sake, and Jesus the Christ is Lord.